Steam is home to a huge library of games with tasty little morsels to satiate every appetite. From trekking through fantasy blockbuster landscapes to stopping demonic babies from sabotaging your babysitting gig through their own suicide, there's something for everyone. AAA games are great, but indie gems can be a blast, and while you're not going to find the next Gone Home or Firewatch among our picks, we've curated a selection of some of the more weird and downright wacky offerings available that will have you questioning how they even came into being. Whether it's fighting off rabid ducks with shotguns or saving the world as a pair of underpants, we're sure you'll find something to surprise and delight. Here are 9 Steam games that will make you ask, why? Set in Finland during the summer of the mid-90s, the aim of the game is to build a car from scratch. Your summer car. It's not as easy as gluing a couple of bucket seats onto a metal frame and stapling the wheels on. Cars are not my forte, I have no idea how they're put together. You'll have to go out and do an honest day's work to scrape together enough pennies to buy all of the pine air freshness and second-hand car parts you can eat. Is that right? Again, I'm not a mechanic. There's an element of survival to the game, with it really going all out to emulate the perils faced by a young man left home alone for the summer. You'll be managing hunger, thirst and fatigue, as well as dodging the odd psychotic NPC trying to run you off the road. You can also get blackout drunk, engage in some good old-fashioned road rage, and get out for a bit of fresh air. So as simulations go, it's pretty spot on. Looking after babies is hard, or so I hear. They're squirmy, curious little critters with soft, squishy skulls that are drawn to dangerous objects like a moth to an inferno. Who's Your Daddy is a 2-player competitive game that brings a nightmare of parenthood to life as you take the role of a frazzled dad desperately trying to baby-proof the house and monitor your little cherub's vital signs. Meanwhile, whoever takes the reins of the deranged baby has only one objective in life: to end it all. Whether it's by sipping on a bottle of bleach or finding creative ways to immolate yourself, the baby is just looking for a window of opportunity to cross over to the other side. And Daddy is at his wit's end. Did you hear me, baby? You've driven me to it. The game is very much geared towards playing with friends, and the devilish amongst you will love trying to outsmart whoever plays Daddy. If you've got the misfortune to be stuck taking care of the baby, good luck, you're going to need it. If you have an artistic flair and penchant for wine and baguettes, living the life of a starving artist will be right up your street. Your imagination is the limit. You can paint whatever you like, providing it fits onto the canvas. Having all the painting skills of a ham-fisted gorilla who lost both of its arms in a tragic woodcutting accident, I stuck to knock off rodents, foodstuffs, and my true love, wine. When that failed to bring in the punters, I went for a more direct approach. The eventual goal of the starving artist is to get recognised, wow critics, sell paintings, and have their own exhibit. Unfortunately, my artist dreams never materialised. After a mediocre start in life, things rapidly went downhill, and I'm now contemplating drowning myself in a vat of red wine off camera. And the game didn't pan out too well for me either. This is one of the weirder entries on the list, which is saying something because they're all ludicrously bizarre. Described as a live-action B-movie adventure, Press X Not to Die does not disappoint. Blood, gore, violence, potential sexy times, hammy dialogue, it's all in there.
Oh man, what should I do?
The plot is your run-of-the-mill military experiment gone wrong business that leaves half of the population as 28 Days Later style rage-filled maniacs. Things take a turn for the bizarre when we find out that the survivors have become imbued with the power of video games. Namely, pressing X and a combo of other buttons, not to die, to bust out some cringy kung fu moves, and to peek at your girlfriend taking a shower after she saves you from her infected roommate. Although I wouldn't advise attempting that last one if you plan on making it to the end. Of course, we're not going to be getting Hollywood choreographed fight scenes, complex story, or stellar special effects, but it's something silly and different. And by the time you've fought off a rabid clown or punched Mrs. Peterson in the nose and left her for dead, you will have forgotten all about the notion of quality content. Pan, or Panty Party, is bloody brilliant, and don't let anyone tell you differently. Perhaps it's because it appeals to my weakness for all things anime and adorable, or my love for a cute pair of pants, but the story of Eureka and her sidekick unmentionables hits all of the usual anime tropes in a tongue-in-cheek brawler, and I found it surprisingly enjoyable. Eureka finds herself pitted against the evil pansy, whose goal is to brainwash people into loving all pants equally, because underwear deserves to be loved, no matter its style. It helps that there's some robust gameplay tucked away under the layers of frivolous nonsense about a schoolgirl who can turn into a caped pair of knickers and has been dubbed the Warrior of Love. Swords, laser beams, boomerangs and supers are at your disposal, plus each pair of pants you defeat adds new powers to your arsenal. There's no denying Panty Party is very strange, but it's also a delightful little title that's definitely worth a dabble, even with the high school girls and aggressive undies. If you've had a tough day at the office and want to mete out some sweet retribution on Janet from accounting, then nothing is going to hit the spot like bashing in some brains. Not Janet's, unfortunately. Paint the Town Red is a melee combat game all about bludgeoning, smashing and battering anyone and everyone. It looks crazy and plays that way too. The aim of the game is to go nuts and kick 7 kinds of snot and then some out of everyone around you. And that's literally it. What dark desires or unquenchable bloodlust spur you on? No one knows. Why is everyone one swing away from diving headlong into a fight to the death? Again, no clue. If you can pick it up, you can use it as a melee weapon or projectile. Otherwise, your fists will do the job quite nicely. Pick a venue that tickles your fancy and you can get the proceedings underway. From a ruckus in a biker bar, panic at a disco, to a straight-up prison free-for-all, you can rain chaos down on all of the other block-headed little people around you. Unless it backfires horribly and you get backed into a grotty toilet cubicle while they pile in and rip you a new one. That looked painful. If Super Smash Bros. Dispensed with the licensed characters and movesets and replaced them with a bunch of ducks and a ton of guns, Duck Game would be the result. 2 to 4 ducks face off against one another in a race to shoot their feathery nemesis to death, and it's glorious. You know, just like real ducks. There's even a dedicated quack button, because what is even the point of being a duck if you can't quack? It's fast and furious fun, and what's more, you can kit out your ducks with all manner of nonsensical outfits to lend a festive atmosphere to the carnage. If the thought of confronting a flock of ducks is a bit too intimidating, I mean we've all been there, right? Then Duck Game has plenty of fun platforming levels for you to navigate and non-threatening NPC ducks for you to practice your aim and reflexes on. It's ducked up. As short as it is peculiar, Confess My Love will have you do just that. Confess your love to a classmate after school. It seems straightforward at first until you realise that you're stuck in a Groundhog Day loop, playing out the same scenario over and over again, trying to get the true ending, which will take a while because there are 20 of the sodding things. You can walk right out of the classroom without acknowledging anyone, or get shot down immediately if you prefer. For a free game, it really isn't that bad, and will have you pulling up a walkthrough to get to the really freaky endings. If the point was to make you re-evaluate the fruitlessness of human interactions, and the inevitable merry-go-round of pain that we're stuck on until we slough off this mortal coil, then mission accomplished. Liza has ripped out my heart 1 time too many, and I'll never fall in love again. But still, it's free, so yay! Another bonkers entry, Hard Time, is kind of like Paint the Town Red, but much worse. Or much better, depending on your point of view. You create a convict and get sent to jail where all you have to do is survive. But considering it's a ruddy madhouse in there, you'll be lucky not to get shanked in the first few minutes. If you don't die, you'll be on the receiving end of some very interesting beatings. If you've never been knocked to the ground with a roll of toilet paper, for example, you're in for a treat. You can run errands for other inmates or just go nuts and succumb to the madness. The challenge of not dying will suck you in, while the brutal beatdowns and occasional sense of purpose will keep you playing until Brian does something dumb enough to get himself killed, like reliving his high school wrestling career with a non-consenting prison guard. Oh, Brian. We've barely scratched the surface when it comes to the more unusual games on Steam. Some will surprise you with just how good they are, while others are, well, The less said about them, the better. Let us know your weirdest finds in the comments, like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Logitech G for more weekly shows. Thanks for watching.